Welcome back to the 40th episode of the current review. It's a special edition today, being a Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. We have an exclusive conversation with a representative from Ezaga Holdings, who's actually the COO and a co-founder of the company. Recently, Ezaga's contract with NSFAS was terminated, a decision that has stirred significant debate. This interview provides Ezaga with an opportunity to respond to the termination and the repercussions on the company's operations and its reputation. We'll delve into the legal victory of Ezaga achieved in challenging this termination and discuss the broader implications for financial management in the education sector. Mr. Ali, could you please briefly explain what led to the termination of Ezaga's contract with NSFAS?
Thank you, and good morning to your listeners, and thank you for having me on your show. The impunged sort of decision on their side for the potential or the alleged termination of Ezaga's contract was obviously NSFAS saying that it was influenced by allegations of an irregular tender process.
Okay, and how has the termination affected your operations and your reputation in the market?
So it's obviously affected our company quite deeply on multiple different fronts. The sudden loss of a major client like NSFAS distributed to our business operations, it led to a huge decrease in revenue and forced us to reevaluate our business strategy and obviously our client base generically. We had to quickly adopt our operations to manage the loss of our significant client. This included diversifying our client base, exploring new markets, or pivoting our business model. The negative public publicity and operations obviously negatively affected our employees' morale. The allegations of an irregular tender process is obviously, in terms of mismanagement, and it definitely tarnished our reputation. Rebuilding trust with existing clients and convincing potential clients of our reliability, and our integrity became a pressing challenge for us. So from the beginning, we invested in reputation management services to navigate the challenging period, and we continue to work diligently to enhance our service offerings and regain our market's confidence.
And recently, you won a legal battle against NSFAS. Could you explain, Jay, what happened there? The significance of this victory for your company, and what were the key arguments that led to the court ruling in your favor?
Yeah, sure. So obviously this victory helps to restore some of the elements that I discussed just now. Our reputation obviously does take a very positive impact from it. So it validates our position and it addresses the allegations against us. It demonstrates our commitment to legal and ethical standards. The victory positions us more favorably to the market that we serve. And it shows that we can effectively defend our rights and interests as a commercial company, which is crucial for the long-term business sustainability and of course, the growth. So that's basically the very high level of generic, positives that we've obviously learned to hear about on the 15th, based on the High Court of Western Cape's judgment.
And you've also emphasized the commitment, your commitment to financial integrity and transparency. How has the company ensured these principles are upheld in your operations?
Look, we've got, multiple different avenues that we've obviously set up. We have implemented rigorous financial reporting standards that ensure accurate and timely documentation is made available to every stakeholder involved in our ecosystem. We all know from a fintech perspective, leveraging off the exact same framework that banks do, we have obviously the availability and we have the rights that we need to follow on our end to make sure that all of these reports are made available and is exposed to the necessary frameworks. We do conduct regular internal and external audits to assess our financial practices and that we meet all of those regulatory requirements. These audits help us to identify any discrepancies and ensure corrective actions are always in place. Our compliance team is dedicated to staying updated with the latest regulatory changes as well. And that obviously helps us to ensure that our practices align with the necessary legal requirements.
And besides the PR steps that you've taken to clear your name in the public, what other things are you doing? Like what else are you doing to clear the corruption, the corruption charges or allegations which have been made against you in the public space in the media?
100%. So, I mean, when necessary, we still, completely committed to take any legal action against those spreading false allegations or accusations. And protecting our reputation is definitely crucial. And we will not tolerate baseless accusations that harm our business and the necessary stakeholders involved in our ecosystem.
And the EFF student chapter or student command has also made some allegations against you and welcomed, the termination of the contract. How do you, respond to the EFF student command?
Look, I mean, we acknowledge the EFF student command statement welcoming the termination of our contract with NSFAS. And while we respect their rights to express their views, we believe it's very essential for us to address these claims, and that they've made them to provide some clarity on those and our position on them. We firmly stand by our commitment to transparency and integrity. And the allegations that led to the contract's termination are currently, fully under legal review. And we are confident that these outcomes will demonstrate our adherence to ethical practices, which I believe was one or two of their biggest concerns with the contract itself. Our primary goal, has always been to serve the interests of students and ensure that they receive the financial support that they need. And obviously, there's a collaboration and synergy between ourselves, the EFF student command, or any other student union. And with them having the same understanding that we do and the same vision that we do, we believe that there's obviously, a site of engagement that we need to have and constructive dialogue with these student unions, including the EFF student command, which will obviously broaden the horizon even further so that full understanding is available on both fronts.
And now, with the court ruling in your favor, what are your plans moving forward in terms of service provision as well as enhancing financial inclusion for the students?
Look, we have and we continue, to continue our expansion of our range of financial services that we make available to the students and all of the various stakeholders, especially financial products that cater for the unbanked and the undeserved communities. And that's the vision of our company, and we'll continue to foster that.
And besides NSFAS, who are your other clients who are in the public sector, perhaps?
Not too much in the public sector, but we do obviously offer our services to a lot of the, informal townships in the unbanked markets, the likes of townships, etc. So we do a lot of collaboration with, the spaza shop and enablements. And a lot of those customers actually bank with Ezaga, and they utilize our cross services in the platform.
So what kind of services are you giving to, the example that you've made of spaza shops?
So it's basically a closed loop. They call it closed loop in the banking space so that they can receive payments, like you're acquiring, point of sale receiving. So if customers walk into the stores with the bank card, they can obviously pay through the banking facility on a bank facility that we offer. They can also, through our platform, vend various value-added services like airtime, electricity, etc. And we know that those are services that we look at as very important to spaza shops because they're making it available to the target market within the immediate vicinity. Over and above that, we do a lot of financial training to those spaza shops, and we also offer generic banking services to them within the model.
Okay, and tell me, do you think, like, what do you think has been the impact of for your reputation on the the educational institutions and the stakeholders in the education sector? Do you think you have the ability and the possibility to restore your reputation there?
I do believe we do. There's obviously a lot of false information that goes out there, and it's also about who you ask. It's easy to have one unhappy customer in business while not hearing the positive feedback from thousands of happy customers or happy students in this particular case relating to your question. The same is true for our service to students in education institutions. We had far more happy customers than what has been reported to in the various media platforms. We do have the full ability. There's a lot of students that we've assisted on a one-to-one basis, physically, in front of them within their institution of higher learning. And we plan to continue that as we continue with this project.
And tell me, what is the effective impact of the court's ruling in your favor on the actual contract itself with NSFAS?
Look, at the end of the day, when we set off our urgent application to the High Court, our intended outcome was obviously for continuation, because we felt that, obviously NSFAS is finding other additional methods of obviously servicing and paying the customers. And it's incorrect because we've got an active agreement between ourselves and them. So with the win that we received on the 15th, that obviously spelled positively in the line of what we intended to achieve.
Okay. So it means there's a possibility of a continuation of providing the services that you had been providing for NSFAS.
100%, that's correct.
And how therefore do you plan to ensure that students continue to receive their allowances efficiently, securely, and especially inside of the recent disruptions that have been happening there?
Look, it always comes down to information and having effective communication with the students. And obviously there's a collaboration with all the different stakeholders involved, including the institutions and NSFAS itself. We are a third party that's involved in the ecosystem, and our work is very dependent on the delivery of, different movements of data and the financials, etc., the funds itself, and all of those things obviously play an impact in terms of our achievement of disbursing the funds on the right time in the month. So obviously we'll work and continue working with those institutions and different stakeholders to make sure that we achieve the disbursement of funds. What's very important.
Apologies, but have you received any feedback from the students, the institutions themselves, as well as other stakeholders there in the sector?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have to work with different student representative council for various different institutions. And, when we do feedback analysis and basically monitor, our relationship with them, we've got some very good feedback. University of Limpopo, previous Secretary General, as always praised us for our responsiveness and availability. Mr. Komalo Kule, last year's SRC president at the University of Zululand, he said that considering the issues we had, with NSFAS previously, Ezaga was innovated and addressing disbursement challenges and were always available to assist them. So those are just some of the feedbacks that we have at student leadership, level. But even directly with students, we do surveys through our call center, and the positivity is there. It's easy for us to look at the vocal records of the students through social media, but a lot of the time, I'd say a big percentage of the time, those issues are not related to our performance. It's always related to an issue of funding statuses or other issues with NSFAS, registration data, whatever the case may be.
And finally, what lessons has Ezaga learned from this entire experience, and how will these lessons shape the company's future and strategies?
Look, for us, being ethical, firstly, in business is our priority, and putting in constant effort to ensure performance exceeds exceptional expectations in those crucial times. And these realities contribute to the positivity that we're seeing today. Simply put, be honest and ethical in all of your dealings. We are a very proudly South African entity, and we are aware of changes at government level, including new ministers and structures, etc. And we recognize that there's a time for change in our country. And in that context of NSFAS, at least, it means enabling more beneficiaries that are well deserving of these funds to receive the financial aid that they seek. And we, as a company, want to be party to that success story. That's the reality of where we stand, and we stand by that as a vision.
Mr. Ali, thank you very much for your time. We hope that whatever challenges are there in the sector, in the education sector, as well as in the financial sector, especially for the unbanked, as you are saying that you are servicing them, that we come to some solutions that benefit everybody. And thank you very much for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having me.
Thank you. That was Mr. Ismail Ali of Ezaga, giving us their view and their perspective on the recent saga surrounding the NSFAS and the termination of the contract between Ezaga and NSFAS. And yeah, man, we are out for now. We shall be back next Tuesday.